All right. Greetings, Hotep Bakwaba, and bless up again. Yes. This is me, Abena, the recovering African who is enslaved in America, and who is a victim of racism. I am also true to the cause of African liberation via unification and utilizing the tool of healthy and effective communication. I am making this video. Today is Sunday, November 12th, and no, 13th it is. And I am making this video in response to the folks who have been letting me know that my message was not clear and it was very ineffective, and possibly people may believe that it was also unhealthy. It was unhealthy only in the sense for me that it was ineffective communication in terms of what, again, I intended to talk about when I made the video, what Umar is not telling you, I will. So I have had the opportunity to listen to the video again for myself, and I most certainly can see and hear the same things that you all see and hear when you listen to my video. I am very well aware that, again, my intent and what I intended to communicate did not come across. Instead, what did come across was the level of feelings of anger and hurt that I was experiencing at the time that I made the video, and I'll say for sure that is triggered for me when I hear or see Umar's teachings in his videos. When I see and hear him, there are a slew of negative feelings that are triggered for me, because I am reminded of my interactions, direct and personal interactions and relationship with the brother. And so that comes across clear, and I'm clear about that. I see that. Again, I say I made 2 additional videos, and now this is a 3rd video in my attempt to clarify what it was I was working to say. And also, those videos, and I guess this one, is intended to place in context my thoughts in the context as it relates to my relationship with Umar, such that it was. Most recently, someone suggested to me, or asked the question, rather, and I appreciate this person who goes by the name of Sammyade, Sammyade, S-A-M-M-Y-A-D-E, who asked me, what is the nature of your relationship with Umar Johnson, if any? Also, in clear communication, can you please state the issues that are causing you so much distress? What exactly is the problem? And I thank you, Sammyade, for asking those questions. In terms of the nature of my relationship with Umar Johnson, if any, I did talk about that in the video that is attached to that particular video, or this video about Umar. And the title of that video is called Storytelling. And that describes the nature of my relationship, such that it was with the brother Dr. Umar Johnson. You say, in clear communication, can I please state the issues that are causing me so much distress? Let's see. The issues that cause me distress, as I was listening to that particular video, you know, he was talking about non-negotiables and teaching the sister about how to hold on to their non-negotiables, first to identify non-negotiables and then be able to hold on to them and as they, move about in the world. And I believe that it was at that point in the conversation and the lesson that he was, sharing, that I began to think about my relationship with him, the whole notion of non-negotiables, my own experiences with identifying my non-negotiables and then holding on to them. And I think one of the things that I would say that I didn't hear, or at that point just what, I would begin to talk about at that juncture in a lesson about, holding on to your non-negotiables. For me, the thing that is not being said, it's like, because when you hold on to your non-negotiables anyway, you will be ostracized, you will be isolated, you will be rejected by, the very people that you are, standing your ground with, or, holding on to your non-negotiables. And you know what it was is that as I, in fact, did that in my relationship and interaction with the brother himself, what he did in response to me was like, wow, do you know, is this what you do to the sistren who hold on to their non-negotiables when they are dealing with these sick brethren? Because, and again, the video storytelling tells more of the story of how, I came in the relationship with him, and it was not an intimate partner relationship. So let me clarify that. People tend to hear the word relationship and automatically they associate and envision a sexual, a relationship that involves sexual interaction, and that's not the type of relationship that we had. It was not an intimate partner relationship. It was a sort of colleague, peer, comrade, relationship. At least that's the position that I was coming from in the relationship. So as such, a non-negotiable is, if this is my program that I developed and that I'm offering to implement, and you're providing the space with this organization that you have, you're providing the space for programs to be implemented for the people, and I present my program to be able to implement in the role that you asked me to be in your organization. And then you and another member, who I think you may be having a sexual liaison with, or who is certainly interested in having one with you, you two talk about how you can have ownership of my program in order for it to be implemented, that you, the organization, must have ownership of it, or you all can just do the program and call it something different and cut me out. And in fact, he did sort of end up cutting me out and kicking me out of his organization. Why? Because I had some non-negotiables in our comrade and in our collegiate and peer building relationship. And it was at that point that's what came up for me, and which I was like, okay, wait a minute, I got to talk about this. What are you saying? Come on, And as I was doing the video, I had the headset on, and I was still listening to parts of what he was saying. And when it got where I began to talk about not buying another video or book or whatever, I suspect, but I'm not certain, but I suspect that he was encouraging the folks at that point in the video. He was encouraging them to purchase something in order to learn more about something that he was, talking about. some supporting information and encouraging them to buy a particular, whatever. And as I'm listening, I was like, because that's the thing. I'm so sick of buying people's, supporting, I want to support the brother because for the most part, I know what the brother, a lot of the stuff that he's talking and teaching about, I also recognize and talk and teach about and know to be true. And I support, most certainly, when I signed on to his organization, it was because I was connected to the things that he was talking and teaching about and recognized the truth in a lot of it. And I also bring to the stage here an additional piece, and that additional piece is about self-focus. And, I apply stuff that I hear to myself and look at it to make sense of it, to understand it. And when I applied what he said to myself and myself with him, more specifically, and recognizing that, I don't know if some point that he does talk to people about when you do present your non-negotiables and when you hold on to them, the brothers are likely to kick you out, call you all kind of names, denigrate you, and all those kind of things. However, you still need to hold on to who you are and your non-negotiables despite what and how people react and respond to you. And please understand that the very people that you love and you care about are the very ones who are going to do the beat down of you when you hold on to your non-negotiables. And that's what came up for me when I listened to the video with Umar. And that is exactly the problem. The fact that on one hand, we can encourage each other to, learn this stuff, hold on to who we are, be yourself and be who you are. We can encourage each other to do that and yet ignore, ignore this other piece, what is going to be the likely outcome. And the only reason it's going to be that outcome is when we do not individually check ourselves and how we are responding to each other when each other presents with a non-negotiable. How do we interact with them, and how do we resolve that? Do we do so in a way that supports sustaining the relationship and continuing to build, or not? And therein lies the problem that I've experienced, that people do not take that next step. And that is what it was I purported to and or attempted to tell people that I didn't hear, or I suspect Umar is not saying. And Umar may have said it somewhere, and I recognize that reality. At the same time, I know this one thing: he hasn't done it with me. He has not practiced that. He has not taken that step in terms of respecting my non-negotiable and working towards a resolution whereby, as comrades and in this, struggle for liberation for the African nation, he did not work with me to be able to resolve it in a way that supported our sustaining that relationship and continuing the process of building together. And that's the problem. The vast majority of the people do not do that. And he didn't do it with me. And I've said before, it's really not just about any one person that I may use as an example, and it's not the person I'm using as an example. That's not the intent. The intent is to use myself as the example. This is the experience that I had, And yes, it was with that person. And there is a part of me that said, okay, this is the only way that I can talk to that person is by making this video, because they have rejected me, they isolate me, they don't deal with me, and when and if they do, and or I have been in their presence, their behaviors are such towards me that's extremely hurtful. So I have to create some distance to protect myself from getting smashed and slammed again with somebody's verbal, assault and attack upon me. And what I'm saying, like I said, listen to storytelling. I'm just practicing my program of recovery. Every time I click on and sign on to any media outlet for me as I live my life, anytime I open my mouth to speak, I'm working a program of recovery, remembering and telling the truth about some terrible events that happened in my life, understanding and knowing that that is a prerequisite for restoring social order and healing individual victims. So a lot of the times when I'm sharing also, and it may come out as a rant because it's something that's really terrible that happened, then I'm doing that for my benefit to get rid of it for me. And so I'm working the program that I need to work. It becomes problematic when other people are not working the program, because when you hear me share, you begin to label it all this shit and pick it up and throw it at me. You're a lame bitch. You don't know what you're doing. You need to not make videos, and all these terrible, awful things that people have been saying and doing. It's like, and despite my acknowledgement, it's like, look, I recognize, I got issues. I'm a traumatologist. I've been severely traumatized, and understanding and knowing what traumatic stress is, trauma and traumatic stress, what it is and how it works. When you understand and know that, then you may have a different appreciation, and you are likely to respond in a different way as well. So I'm going to stop, because I know I have extra than 10 minutes for YouTube, but I don't want to go 20, 25 minutes, and I'm not sure how long I've gone so far. So that is my reply for you, Sammyade, and for all of you folks who are responding to this video, what Umar is not talking about. I will.